You're listening to Errol Parker and Clancy Overall, editors of the Batuta Advocate on Desert Rock FM. And welcome back to the Batuta Advocate radio show, recording here in downtown Batuta, Budgie Smuggler Studios in the Old City District. You're joined, of course, by myself, Clancy Overall, editor of the Batuta Advocate, and Errol Parker, editor-at-large. And today we're talking to three of Australia's premier stage and online comedians, performers, I guess you could say. We were just talking before we hit record there, and we were just talking about how much balls are carried between the three of them in the work they do, which is quite different to what we do here in this humble regional newspaper.
Yeah.
We've got Mark, Broden,
Hello.
Zach from Aunty Donna. How are you, gents?
Very well, thank you so much.
We are so well, thank you. We are doing super.
Thank you so much for having us. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. We love coming to Batuta, and we've done a few rural shows there, and it's an honour to be on the radio.
Seasoned, I wouldn't go as far as calling you showies, but you're not far off that circuit. You are hitting the rural towns. What would the average tour look like for you lot?
You know, look, usually we're hitting the cities. For the most part, we're hitting the cities, but if maybe a council, a Batuta council or a Queensland state government throws a little something in, or maybe a bit of a tax break for us to roll around to Batuta, we'll consider it, you know.
Worked for Baz Luhrmann.
But we love the audiences.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Regular couple of Baz Luhrmanns over here.
Yeah. It also worked for Billy Zane.
Oh, yes, for Billy. What did Billy do? Because Baz is one of our biggest
the
comedy influences.
The Phantom. That was
the Phantom.
Gold Coast.
Oh, the Phantom.
If you're from Queensland, you know everything that was filmed at Movie World, don't you? You got that.
Yeah.
What was Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Yeah.
Plenty of that.
I remember, what was that one that came out? The Ocean Man DC Ocean Man movie. I watched that, and I remember thinking, I was about halfway through, and I didn't know. About halfway through, I was like, I reckon this was filmed at Movie World. This has just got a filmed at Movie World kind of energy.
One of the hangers. Yeah. Another great that they filmed. Oh, that Jackie Chan, Rumble in the Bronx.
No, that's the one that they filmed here was called Mr. Nice Guy. I remember I was watching it years ago, and they had a scene where they were in the snow, and it was apparently in Russia, and it's just covered in gum trees, like this whole hillside.
Yeah, they had the
Is that the one where he has the magical tuxedo?
The
The
image
robot
of
tuxedo?
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. I hadn't
the image of
thought about
Jackie
that.
Chan, like on a lunch break, checking out the Harry Potter exhibit at Movie World is just something that keeps me up at night with joy.
Yeah, I wonder if he went to the Batman cafe and got a burger. Got a little...
Or maybe he blushed and got a photo with the Catwoman. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
You can get your photo taken in an alleyway of Gotham City that is 1 metre deep. Beautiful.
Yes.
If you play your cards right and get the timing right, you might get a photo with Christian Bale era Batman and Michelle Pfeiffer era Catwoman in the same photo. That's the hope.
Oh, well, the best one was Clooney. Was it Clooney era Batman where they had nipples on the suit?
Oh,
yes.
yes. I have a photo of when I was 18 with the Clooney era Batman and the Batgirl at Movie World.
Oh, yeah,
and
Batgirl.
It's very
Short-lived.
exciting. Very exciting.
I mean, speaking of Australian productions, this is what you guys are now verging into. You've done years of stage and online, and now we're talking TV.
We've made the big jump. We've made the big jump, and it's a dream come true. When we were all 5 years old, growing up in Australia, our dream was to one day make a show for a streaming platform, for an SVOD, for an online platform. We knew that one day we'd be adults and we would be on one of those digital access, Chromecastable shows, and that was our dream.
Yeah,
early 90s.
I watched Seesaw as a kid and was like, one day I'll be on something like
Presto. Presto was big for me. I would sit there and I'd be glued in front of the TV to Presto and just go, one day Presto.
I remember Wednesday nights on Presto. I think that was every child's dream, just that, that wall-to-wall quality comedy on the Foxtel Channel 7 streaming collab Presto.
I think they got something like 14,000 members in the end. Presto.
Oh, that's
yeah,
delicious.
that was.
We love Presto.
That's a beautiful number.
It was a niche business that was only around for a niche amount of
Well,
time.
yeah, I think that Presto was Foxtel and Channel 7 taking a risk and saying maybe people are going online, and sometimes risks don't work out. People didn't want to watch TV on the internet. You don't. You watch it on TV. You turn your television on.
Especially when all we were dealing with was like 5 seasons of stingers. They didn't have much to work with either.
Yeah.
It was that concept, wasn't it? It was like everything you love about Channel 7, everything you love about Foxtel are still currently exclusive to Channel 7 and Foxtel, but we do have a lot of Real Housewives, but not the seasons you want to watch.
The one with the silver
Real
chair
Housewives of Manchester.
The Real Housewives of Brisbane.
I'd watch that.
Camilla
I'd
dresses.
absolutely watch that.
Rosé, Camilla dresses.
More Maroon.
Yeah, don't talk back to her. Her husband makes hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Playing rugby league.
We made a Netflix show. We put it on. We made it over in America, and we finished the edit on it the day before COVID really took off.
Yeah.
We
That's
came
good.
home just in time.
And you got
We're
to home
very
quarantine.
lucky in that respect.
So you didn't have to do the hotel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
We landed at 5 a.m. and at midnight that night the hotel quarantine, the 2-week mandatory quarantine had come in, so they hadn't had time to set up the hotel thing just yet. So we just did it in Airbnbs, but we were very close. We were very close to getting hoteled.
All right, you just stayed there and had the groceries dropped off or something like that.
Yeah, I
Yes.
literally booked. I lived in an apartment building, and I booked an apartment across the road from my apartment building, and I spoke to my girlfriend over the balcony for the first 2 weeks of coming back home.
I had to convince an Airbnb person that I was just like a young, exciting writer who just wanted to spend a two exact weeks
Yes.
alone in an Airbnb. I was just like, I'm young and I'm exciting and I just want to come out to this beautiful suburb in the middle of Victoria and just hang out.
yeah.
I'm not sick at all.
Yep.
I completely forgot about that. I was so scared of telling them I'd just come from overseas because they'd just be like, "No, fuck off." So I was just like, I'm in Melbourne for the comedy festival. Oh, but it got cancelled, so I guess I'm just gonna have to stay.
A little bit of a sabbatical. Yeah.
So you guys came back just in time, but you did have to spend, the 116 days locked in your house. How was that for all you guys?
I hate to be that cliche. There's sort of 2 cliches, isn't there? There's the Beck Judd kind of get me out of my mansion cliche, but then there's also the, you know what, I liked it, but I didn't mind it.
There's also there's a third one there too, which is no, we're not okay.
Yeah. You can't talk about lockdown unless you're in lockdown. Thanks, Australia, but fuck off.
You wouldn't understand. This isn't it, guys. You wouldn't understand up in Queensland what it's like. We were marginally worse off.
Yeah.
It
Thanks,
was
Melbourne. You don't have to
marginally
deal
more
with
difficult.
increased rates of skin cancer like we have to in Queensland. Go and
Thanks.
wear another raincoat.
I got to
Yeah.
say, you do not understand what it's like here, where we have running water and are able to self-isolate for that many days. It's tough.
Also, the
It's
ability,
tough.
everyone forgets, you got 2 types of water. You got the hot and cold, and and you also get to shit into clean water. That's very rare around the world.
It is a beautiful thing, isn't it? You don't get it. No one gets what it's like in Melbourne, and it's like because 70% of the world has it worse than us right now. That's why they don't understand.
And any
It's
bit
like,
of sympathy, any bit of sympathy we had just vanished when you said that. So
you just
But
don't
the
get it.
scary thing for me is it wasn't that different, to be honest.
to a good old Melbourne winter.
Yeah, it was like I exercised in the park. I saw these guys on Zoom instead of having to go to the office every day, which was nice. Paid for less petrol.
Yeah.
And less stinky.
Yeah.
Who was less stinky? Me?
I didn't want to say, but yeah.
Mark, you can't just throw around those sorts of accusations, man.
Oh, come on. I was just doing a little comedy joke about Stinky Broden.
Bit of a riff.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with a riff.
Yeah, got shot down real quick. Could have been a riff. Could have been a riff.
I'm going to echo what Cameron James said to you guys the other day. For a couple of writers who sit online all day, you guys are good riffers.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Good riffers.
Especially, that was, we were with some of the more, I guess you'd say, schizophrenic riffers in that room that day.
Yeah.
Cameron and Alexi.
Yeah, they're riffianados.
We're building a rapport here, guys. I reckon we'll be getting, we'll be going off the handle by the end of this.
Those two dudes are very clever. So it was a bit intimidating having them in here. You know, like they just know so much shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I got
movies.
some good news for you boys. We are not as clever.
We are dumb cunts.
We do not know
It's going to be all
nearly
right.
as much shit.
Yeah, right.
You will be ahead of us and or keeping up.
Hey, can you tell us a little bit about speaking of your strong suits, which is obviously in performance on stage and online, how did it start? I feel like you guys have been going at it for a while, and like all great performers, you have your moments. Right now, this is a moment. Netflix, right? But obviously, you guys lifted up during lockdown because what you do suits that kind of moment perfectly, and you're just real stayers, you know. And people who discover you, we're speaking to Violent Soho about this as well. People who discover you feel like you're brand new, which is, I guess, an art form in itself. How did it start? Because it felt like it almost was happening before the age of the viral comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a big thing where I genuinely, we almost to tap into, because we've got the story of how we started, but to tap into almost that idea of always existing, kind of seeming timeless. It doesn't matter. I remember having a conversation when we first started doing what we do. We had a conversation where we were like, the comedians we love, you know, your Monty Pythons or your Sean McAuliffes, that those comedians tend not to do contemporary references.
Yep.
That they're a great sort of, if you're doing satire, go contemporary. But if you're doing something that's more about escape, let's make it timeless. Let's always tap into whatever's funniest in any given time. If a character has to hold a phone, let's go with is the Nokia funnier than the iPhone, or is it funnier to go with a cord? You know, like, let's go with the funniest.
Yeah.
And that was more like a stylistic choice, but I think it's meant that we've had to delete less videos from our YouTube than our contemporaries, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
It's funny that you say it happened. You feel like it happened before the viral comedian, because we've always felt like we've been a step behind everything. We felt like we came to the game so late, and when we started uploading shit on YouTube, like, I think I'd watched YouTube 3 times in my life. Like, we've always felt like we've approached it like old men, and there's this new thing that's already come and gone, and we're trying to catch up. So it's interesting to hear you say that.
What was the conversion first? Was stage, or like, you know, were you converting your live audiences into viewers, or was it viewers into live audiences?
It was, our whole thing was we're just going to be a live group and just tour around, and, you know, like the one I always thought of, I wanted to be like Leno and Woodley, who did these live shows, and then maybe they got a telly show down the track, and that was the kind of plan. But then we put things up intermittently on our YouTube channel, pretty much usually to promote that we were doing a live show. Yeah, and like places like Reddit and other places like that really got on board, and we built an audience. But like you say, I've not heard many people refer to us as stayers, but it's very true. Like just very gradual over time, just always doing stuff, and have just very, very slowly and just brought people, more and more people to following us. And
you don't blow your gasket on, you know, one big stitch up or one big stunt or one big gig. You know what I mean? It's not that's not longevity.
I think the groups that go up really fast go down fast very well. You know, it's just
I totally. There's a sense like, have you ever heard of VidCon?
No.
Ever heard of VidCon?
Yeah.
It's short for video conference, I presume. And it's every year in Anaheim, just across the road from Disneyland. All of the best creators for YouTube and TikTok and all the things, they get together and they talk about what it is, like how to create content. And I remember we've been to a few. I kind of like it, but we've been to a few, and man, like we always feel so out of our depth because it's always these things, you know, like how to go viral. Like it's how to engage with content and how to do this, how to do that. And
what's the turnover like? You never see the same people there again.
Yeah, no,
never.
Not a great life expectancy, to be honest, for a YouTuber.
And that's exactly our experience. We went there once, we've never been again.
We've had, like, when you talk about virals, we've had a few that have, like, on different places. Like, we did this video a few years ago called Christmas Pud.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, that did well for us and lots of others. And we've had ones at other times. But when something does blow up for us, like, personally speaking for myself, I'm just really fucking confused. Like, I never I never can look at it and go, how do I do that again? Or how can we recreate
It's not like
that?
writing a song. You know, musicians can, if they really put their mind to it, write a song with the commercial checkpoints that will get them put in a superannuation ad.
Yeah.
But I don't think with what you do, you can't find those checkpoints. You don't know what it is that's going to send this thing.
That we've never had that Beatles moment where someone's gone, you've just recorded your first number one hit. Like we're just like, Pud, or nurse, or I don't know.
Bang, symbols,
Bang, bang. Can I ask you boys a question about when you do posts like on Facebook or Instagram, do you have like measurements where you go, this is a success, or do you have one post that you like, or article that you think of as that's the one?
In the first 2 minutes, we know if it's going to go off.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
That's exciting.
It's kind of how these things work is like there's like a ratio that the algorithm works off where if it gets a lot of clicks but no interactions, then the algorithm kills it because they think it's like clickbait news, whatever it is. Like, but if it gets like a lot of clicks and comments, then the algorithm tends to reward that.
So you can't go too taboo and you can't go too crude in that sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're not going to fucking like something that's got cunt written all over it. They're going to, they'll click it, but they're not going to fucking share it, you know?
Yeah. But
that's about as much as we know with the algorithm. No one really knows.
Except the algorithm,
I think that's
though,
the trick, isn't it?
Like it changes so much. Like there used to be different types of metrics that we could measure off for how a story was going to end up. But yeah, look, it's just.
All we've had to do is condition ourselves to our own format and not try and do what... I mean, the censorship, and especially with COVID, we've got to be careful with some of the words you use because they'll shut you down straight away.
Yeah, right. So you've got to try to find new ways of... You can't necessarily use coronavirus in a headline. You've got to find another term for the coronavirus. So you
can't say shamdemic either.
So you could say like
I wonder why.
Yeah, so you've just got to. But yeah, it's,
I think I heard about coronavirus. The first time I think I heard coronavirus, I think it was in one of your articles in like January, February, which is, you know, it's a fair point. Like people, and it happens all the time where people. It's like almost a saying now in Australia is I can't believe this isn't a Batuta, a Batuta article when something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Can I ask just off that?
Yeah.
Do you sometimes have jokes that you go, well, this won't go gangbusters, but I want to put this out and I'm excited that this this is going to go off in Queen.
It's never been about the likes. It's about news and information.
That's what I'm
just
thinking.
An old-fashioned journalist.
It must be strange when people outside of Batuta engage with your material.
Yeah, it's crazy. Malcolm Turnbull, you know, all those interesting Southern types.
Yeah, it's like we had that article the other day about how a gyprocker was hiding a bottle of piss in the drywall. And
yes, that freaked me out.
Yeah, because look, in your house now, somewhere in the walls, there could be a bottle of piss. And
I think that now.
Inside, probably say about 10% of households in this country have a bottle of piss somewhere in the drywall.
Or
that was left
terrifying.
by a gyprocker.
That's a terrifying thought.
Or the plumbers, when they're four or so stories up and they don't want to go back down the scaff to go to the portaloo, will just do a shit. They'll do a shit in the pipe that they know is going to be connected to the toilet anyway. So it just sits there. It sits there until its first flush, which could be months later. And these are the type of things you learn when you've got a town our size and you get to meet all of these different identities. Sometimes we might not cast the widest net, and it feels good. It feels good to do something for them.
Can I ask a question about the Batuta? Because we only get the online version down south. We only get the Instagram and the website.
Yeah.
Do you still have a print version that is circulated around the town?
Yeah, lips on.
Because I grew up in a rural area, and one of my favourite things is one of our parents in my year level. One of the parents realised this hack that if you wrote the article and sent it in, they would just publish it. So I was just curious, do you have stories about exciting school excursions?
Sounds a lot like PR, that sounds, I think she just discovered what PR is, because you send a press release in.
The greatest publicist in the Latrobe Valley.
Now, tell us, you guys are regional, I guess, in the narrative. Some of you, I'm not sure if you're all from the bush, but you all met in Ballarat University. That's the narrative.
The Rust Belt.
The Rust Belt. Yeah, so I'm not sure if Ballarat's a gold or wool town, but I know the gold towns don't do so well.
I'm really big on that. That's the narrative. Just
that's
throwing
the narrative.
into doubt whether we studied at Ballarat at all.
Yeah.
That's what we tell people to make people think we're humble and
Yeah.
Ballarat the gold rush happened in Ballarat, and it had more money than Melbourne. So there was a time when the city of Ballarat was more beautiful. It acquired all the best art in the mid 1800s. It's
wide
a beautiful
streets.
city, and beautiful.
Very wide
and then
streets.
One day, nothing, and it hasn't grown since. But now there's a lot of Maccas.
It's the biggest Maccas in the Southern Hemisphere, I think.
And they're all scrounging for different kind of rocks now.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
they're looking for. I'll tell you what, the gold in the river at Sovereign Hill. You boys know about Sovereign Hill?
Mm-hmm. Familiar with
It's
that.
a concrete river. They put it in there every morning. It's fake. Fucking
Mark
dogs.
used to work there.
for the fossicas.
Sorry, Mark.
Well, great. I was trying to, I had a hot scoop, I found out through some side way. No, I did used to work there.
Oh, really? Did you have to dress up like colonial?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I had to do street activations like Lola Montez Lola Montez had shown her ankles that night at a theatre show, and she was being essentially slut-shamed on the street. And then she whipped a man, and I was the man that she whipped, you see.
So they had a theatre media department, I'm guessing, at Ballarat?
Yeah. Oh, yes, they did.
So you...
we went to...
Would you identify as thespians?
Oh yes, very much so. Very much so. We're proud thespians, and that's where it did start. We all studied acting together at Ballarat. It was just this weird little acting school, and it was one of those very funny things where we were all very serious. We're all really skinny. Everyone's so skinny when they're 19. And we're all really skinny, and we'd wear black tracksuit pants and do serious Shakespeare plays and legitimately believed there was a career in putting on Shakespeare plays. And then we just sort of moved slowly towards comedy when we realised that, not many people other than year 12s care for Shakespeare.
And the greatest form of theatre for most of your contemporaries would be like WWF wrestling. It's kind of hard to bring Shakespeare.
That's why I was there.
Bring Shakespeare to the town of Ballarat when you could just put on a pair of, leotards and get on, just backflip off the turnbuckle, and that's the theatre everyone's kind of most interested in.
If instead of doing vocal training, we were doing how to do a hurricanrana, or a sidewalk slam.
Yeah.
Like, that would be quite... I reckon there'd be value in that, particularly if you're on the Gold Coast doing stunts for all the movies. I would have loved that.
Yeah,
Yeah, the suplexes and stuff.
That's
like
life
that.
skills.
Did you have to do any of that? What's that theatre?
The suplex.
The theatre thing that they do with the youngsters, the mumming. Did they ever do that with you? Where they send you into the pub to do like a flash flash performance?
Oh, no,
God.
thank God
Thank God.
we
Yeah.
missed that. There was I think there was the first inklings. I legitimately remember there being talk in about our third year of uni, there's these performance art groups in New York that will just freeze in unison and create these moments. And I remember being that age and being like, oh, wow, we should try to put that together. And then it never quite happened. So we thank God, because the idea of there being footage online, I'd be happy for most footage from my past to be released. But if there was footage online of me doing the Macarena in the middle of a shopping centre in Ballarat, I couldn't do it. I would have to just
With you
move
and-
to Tasmania. You'd never hear from me again.
Just with you and 8 mates.
Yeah.
And no one's looking at you.
We're going to they're going to be going for their shop, and then they're going to look around and their whole concept of reality is going to be changed because 8 people are doing the Macarena.
But also, if we did that in Ballarat, we would get the shit beat out of us.
That happens, because I've heard of this happening at Armidale and Gatton and Bathurst, where they have these kind of similar sized universities with similar kind of theatre schools in them, and they do it in the pubs. They'll send them in. They'll send them in. It'll be 4 or 5 guys and a couple girls. You imagine they send in the girls who kind of do a little bit of a whimsical kind of thing, and the punters aren't really off it. But then the guys come in and do make them laugh, make them dance, make them laugh, and then you just
Start
ruined their
exploring
night.
the negative
Yeah.
space.
These guys are having a counter meal and they're probably about to play the pokies. They didn't really come here for that.
I feel like they would have invented new homophobic slurs to say to us. They would have brought them into existence if we'd done that.
They invented
I
that.
just the idea. I'm really now tickled because I just remember that's kind of the going thing. It's become enough of a genre that there's tropes now, and the going thing is it's always one person starts singing, and then the people that join them are in the crowd going, "What's this? What's going on here?" And then they join in. It's that fold in.
I'm trying to be like an English pub.
The best thing you could possibly do is get 20 friends together and convince one person you're going to do a flash mob. Get the rest to start.
You're up first, buddy.
It's the only one.
That'd be great.
Who's this guy?
So you sing the first 10 to 20 seconds and then we'll join in.
Excuse me, sir. I think you've had too much to drink. So I'm going to have to help you out of the pub.
Yeah. For the
Just
longest
completely throw them
time.
Hey, mate, I think you need to have some water. We'll love to help you out.
Oh, no, get him to start with something really obnoxious like living on a prayer, oh. Johnny used to work on the docks. And everyone just looks at him. Oh, God, that's good. We should...
The idea that the person that's about to join in is the person that says, "Are you okay, mate?"
Oi, what's going on?
What's going on?
might,
Who's this guy?
Yeah, might
Let's get him.
get him on the mid-strengths, I reckon, this fella.
Let's get this guy on the middies. I think
Yeah.
this is.
It's
only 5.
Right. Sorry, guys. His girlfriend just left him.
He was really concussed on the weekend in rugby.
We weren't
Spear tackled into the cricket pitch.
We weren't going to bring him out tonight because we thought something like this might happen, but he said, nah, I'm feeling all right. And then, here we are. It's my fault. It's my fault this has happened.
Now we're riffing, guys. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good. We're,
It's a riff. This is a riff. I've been trying to get one started all potty.
Yeah, we're throwing around hypotheticals. Yeah. Now tell us with the new show, what is
Yeah.
the premise? Is it this kind of stuff? We're talking You know, like
Talking riffs. Talking riffs.
Yeah.
theatre kids with a budget. Is this what we're talking?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Actually, legitimately, that is what it is. We made some YouTube videos in Australia, and then one day, an American group were like, "Yeah, come do it over here." I went, "All right," and then we did the same thing on a much higher budget, and it got made. And somehow that happened. So that's what it is.
It's actually not that different to what we've always done, but just with fancier cameras and fancier lights and a fancier set. But
and professionals, just crazy professionals around us who've been
streamlined,
who've been working. Yeah. Oh my god! Oh, they just work over there.
Yeah,
we would shoot our bullshit, like we'd do the bullshit and then just profusely apologise afterwards. We just added that layer. I was just like, we're so sorry. We know you've worked with the greatest comedians in the world. We're so sorry. Anyway, back to slapping hot dogs on each other's faces.
I never saw one person shit in a pipe ever while I was over there.
That's true.
Well, that's great. I mean, it sounds like you guys are talking about it like it sounds like a lucky turn of events, but obviously, as we said, you stay as you've been working on it for a while. And I think the most luck that you've kind of come to that isn't necessarily indicative of hard work is the luck in that this was all wrapped. Your unionised workforce were sent home just a week before coronavirus took off.
Oh, my God.
Very lucky. Very lucky.
We shot this the last 3 or 4 weeks that you could shoot before everyone went on Christmas holidays for 2019. So it was pushed all the way. And there were moments where there could have been delays and we would have had to push the shoot into 2020. Had we done that?
Yeah. Let's be honest, this was an American production, Mark, so we might have taken a week off and then gotten back to it.
That's true. They love to work. Let's
get back in there. Wear your masks if you want to.
No, but we dodged that. We got very lucky. Very lucky.
So you're in LA?
Yeah.
We were in there. We had to try and convince Americans to be in the show because all our Aussie mates were back in Australia.
Yeah.
So
no one knew who we were.
It wasn't pilot season, so there were no Aussies there.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like American actors who are like big Donna fans. So like Homelander from
The Boys.
The Boys.
Yeah.
He's like just a big fan. So like, can you please come be in this show? And he's a Kiwi originally, so he's like, yeah, Pud, and I love Pud. And then and then we asked Weird Al Yankovic, and he's like, yeah, Pud. And
that's what we were going to get to. Weird Al, that's a good get.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great get.
With the strangest thing is over there, like you forget how like normal this is to people over there. We'd be sitting, we had this casting meeting, and I can't remember if it was the casting director or if it was maybe Dave, one of the producers, who were just like, Weird Al would be good for it. It might have even just been Al might be good for this.
Yeah.
And we're just like, oh no, that's too much for 13-year-old me to handle.
Yeah, Gangsters, Amish Paradise. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was the one for me too. Was that one and what was it? The episode 1 Star Wars one as well.
Yeah.
There's the Running with Scissors album defined my puberty.
Eat it.
As I was going through puberty, I was listening to Running with Scissors by Weird Al Yankovic.
Was that the Cobain parody was just top tier.
Oh,
Smells like Nirvana.
Yes, yeah. It smells. That's right. It smells like Nirvana.
Do you remember that song? His originals didn't get enough credit either. Do you remember that? I'm going to give away the joke, but I think a spoiler warning on a comedy song that's 20 years old is not too important.
No.
But I remember he did. He did this song. It was just this idea of I was watching TV and then there was a news announcement. They cut off my program to show this news announcement of this horrific earthquake, and so many people had died, just this horrific news. And then I thought to myself, why does this always happen to me? I was halfway through that episode of The Simpsons, and I still have this vivid memory of just the whole chorus was, why does this always happen to me? And it was all about these world events and how upset he was that it was interrupting his TV show, or it's a very funny song, very clever.
It's actually quite similar to the 2020 second wave Melbourne situation,
But you wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand up there. I could only go and exercise for 1 hour of the day, and I didn't use that, nor would I have. But
Not
1
once.
hour, do you know what that's like?
So, no, yeah, tell me about that. Were there, because I need to know this from Victorians.
Yeah.
Was there ever a day where you just let that hour go by? You didn't even not even for groceries.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Most of them. Most of those days.
It's a cold winter's day. Like I would say I went outside more because I knew I only had an hour.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know.
It's like, I'm going to use my hour.
Actually, the weirdest bit for me was the curfews. That's something.
That was odd.
Like 7 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night, the streets would just be empty, and like you could see it, like from my balcony, you could see no one was around, and like if you got Uber, you had to sneak out the door and get it and come back in. That was particularly weird, and like
Yeah. It sounds a lot like King's Cross.
That concept. What's that? Yeah, like King's Cross.
Yeah.
yeah. King's Cross, or it's like Darling Harbour at night.
It's like Melbourne after 8 p.m. during curfew was like Darling Harbour for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Like since the Olympics. It's kind of
A bunch of wet pigeons.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of people have made arguments that Melbourne copped a second wave because of political reasons or even racist reasons. You could argue that Melbourne copped a second wave because you're not used to being told what to do. Which
Absolutely.
Where it's like the
100%.
complacency was there in the sense that Sydney and Brisbane, they're like, don't you dare go out. Everyone's like, oh.
Wash your hands.
This is like the time you closed all the pubs because we couldn't stop punching each other. And they're like, exactly like that.
Yeah, there's points of reference. When Melbourne's brand is entirely, come on, it's a party.
Yeah.
You can't just jump from, like you tell a 22-year-old that he has to go to work every day. He's not going to do it. He's just finished uni. He's still living in his first year O week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're O week guys.
Yeah, and it's also like I want to go to comedy at 3 a.m. That's just what I do because that's what we do here.
That's a normal thing here.
I do love the idea that finally Brisbane, Perth, Sydney could lord over the fact that you're like overly expanded and you have too many suburbs and everyone drives everywhere. It's like, ha! We didn't make it good for pedestrians 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
We don't have trams that suit everyone.
Suck shit. We don't have a vibrant nightlife, you losers.
Yeah, we don't. We don't have a operating public transport system that we can rely on, and
That's free.
yeah, it's part of our community. So shit. It's like LA versus New York, I guess. Driving cities.
Yeah.
There's no high rises, no nothing.
Melbourne is the New York and Sydney is the LA. That's how we and that's all we've always
Brisbane's
said.
Atlanta.
That's Brisbane's
Brisbane
Atlanta.
is Atlanta.
Brisbane, yeah.
No. Brisbane is Orlando.
Orlando.
Oh yeah,
Orlando.
man. Like, I didn't want to break it to you, but Queensland
Or
is our
Anaheim.
Florida. We love you, Queensland. You've got our theme parks. You've got the best weather, but you are our Florida.
Yeah, we love guns.
It's all right.
We'll take it.
That's my favourite thing about Australia is like, oh yeah, this part of Australia is this part of America, and this part of Australia is.
Yeah.
It's like we're just Texas. Australia is Texas, and that's it. Like,
Yeah. Or when people, particularly in New York, they're like, "Oh man, Queens." That's basically like Footscray. It's like, no, it's not.
There's not a comparison for every little bit,
Footscray's full of Vietnamese and Greek guys who got really rich and started voting for the Liberal Party. That's what Queens is?
Is that what they're doing in Queens?
The best part of Melbourne is the top of Burke Street is called the Paris End. Like that is
Oh yeah, that's amazing. That's because there's a Louis Vuitton shop, and that's literally the only reason.
Yeah.
This is the Paris End
On Park Road in Brisbane, which was, I guess, the trendy strip in the 90s. They thought it was really going to lift off, and it never really made it because, you can't force those kind of things. They have a imitation Eiffel Tower.
oh, yum, 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 yum.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
It's one of my favorite things in the world is like state. So it's state governments and like councils going, oh man, London has the London Eye. We need something like that will draw people to
The
our
Docklands
city.
Eye.
Something, and it's like, so what we're going to do is have a big wheel in the city. And then people are like, no, it's... The idea is that it's original, it's different. If you want your London Eye, it has to be different. Like, no, we're going to do a big wheel just like London.
Yeah.
And we're going to charge you $45 to get on it.
Yeah.
It's big and it'll be broken all the time.
In the London Eye, you can see
Yeah.
all of London. You can see the Big Ben. You can see the Shakespeare's Theatre. You can see anything. And it's literally from the Melbourne Star. You can see Costco and some docks. And
Yeah.
the Baltic
Yeah, yeah.
Bridge.
Have you
See
ever
the
wanted to
Baltic
see what the
Bridge.
roof of Docklands looks like? Well, for $45,
a good roof.
I can show you the roof.
Yeah. Do you want to see what heaps of empty apartment buildings look like?
If you want to see
It's
it,
so-
if you want to see what a wind tunnel that hasn't increased in value for 10 years looks like, $45 on this wheel.
I think one of the best parts about Queensland when we visit there is that it's the flagship stores for American chains always start in Queensland. Your Taco Bells, your
Yeah.
Jersey Mike's, all of those
Hooters.
ones. They always start in Queensland. Carl's Jr. at the airport in Brisbane,
Yeah.
by golly.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
sunk
guys
some
got
money in
Moss
there.
Burger,
Krispy
Moss
Kreme.
Burger, which we do not have in Melbourne. That kills me. I love Moss Burger.
And it's lost on Queenslanders too, because they'd prefer to go to Red Rooster. So
Yeah.
You've still got Red Rooster? I mean, geez.
I think the thing with the Australian cities, you're right with the whole, we'll just get like a scaled down version of this thing that worked in London. And they really should be leaning into what they have. Like the fact that Brisbane has the most popular form of public transport is catamarans should probably be a bit more of a bigger deal. You know?
Capitalize on that.
Yeah.
Capitalize on the catamarans.
I also
This-
love the competitiveness on population. Like, we're soon going to be a bigger city than Sydney. And it's like,
Good.
oh,
Good. I hope you've got the sewage system that can handle that. Like,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Byron's is the Victorian kind of flight path to Byron's almost one way nowadays too.
Absolutely.
Outside of COVID. So speaking of sewage systems that can't handle the population,
That is a funny part of the world. We've been up there a few times, mainly like when we've done Splendor and things like that. And that, like the Byron and the suburbs around Byron, is it Kingscliff or
Yeah.
something
Hell
like
yeah.
that? Is one of the most bizarre places I have been in the world.
Yeah.
Like
And
it's
Ocean Shores.
yeah.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my god. This is like
The
it's
locals
the most beautiful
call
beaches.
it Ocean Shores. The locals call it open sores.
Do you know, genuinely, I think Byron is mostly people from Melbourne dressing up like Queenslanders, and Melbourne is mostly people from Brisbane dressing up like Melbourne people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's literally we just do like an exchange.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been to a barber shop.
And no one
it's
is in
not been
Queensland.
someone-
That's the thing, though.
I genuinely don't think I've ever had my beard done in Melbourne and it not lead to someone being like, yeah, I used to live in Sydney, man, but you just couldn't get a good coffee. Like, that's every
Man,
barber
I
in
just
Melbourne.
had to leave Queensland after they voted in Scott Morrison again, man. I just fucking couldn't take it, man.
And I didn't have the balls to move to London.
Man, like my fucking parents.
I had to go, man. And originally, like, first I got an apartment off Chapel Street, but that place is dead now, man. That's why I had to
Yeah.
go north, man.
So I was living at the Warsaw end of Chapel Street. Like real communist vibes. But now it's like...
Yeah, like that place is dead
thought
now
some
because of
full of
COVID-19.
Ever since they shut down the Top Shop, man, the Warsaw end has just, like, gone downhill, man.
I just thought to myself, I'm 21 years old. I'm not going to be around forever. I've got to make something of myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I swear
And,
to God,
like-
man. My boss here at this barbershop is such a dick, man. I can't wait to open my own barbershop next door and then learn very quickly about a thing called cash flow and shut down.
Yeah, but you know you can't have enough dapper barbershops.
No.
so,
Love 'em.
look, guys, we've done well here. We've riffed. I'm going to say for half an hour. But yeah, it was great to meet you guys. And when the steel ring opens up, we'll be sure to link up.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be
amazing.
awesome. And thank you so much for talking to us. You guys are absolute icons, not just in Batuta, but all around Australia. And we've been fans forever. So lovely to talk to you.
Oh, thanks for joining us, gents. And look, as we cast a wide net most of the time. You know, you join us a week after, I guess we had Slim Dusty's wife, Joy McKean, and before that we had Robbie Catter, the son of Bob. And it's great
Shannon
to actually...
Null.
Yeah, we had Shannon on too. It's great to actually speak to some people inside Melbourne, though. We got that's the most perspective we've gotten this whole
Very
time.
Very different lifestyle down here. Very different.
Yeah. November 24, I believe, New South Wales are opening up to you. So
November 23.
November 23.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Maybe we can all meet at the Bubble in Byron.
I'm going to get in there and fucking root around. I can't wait.
We can get on the beers.
Yeah. We'll meet at the Bubble in Byron.
I'm sorry.
Very topical. Good.
Yeah.
Thanks, gents.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You, boys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
boys.